Hey, all right.
Hey, here we are, everybody.
Check it out. Dave and Mathias back for another episode live.
The BlabberMalt Show,
BlabberMalt
episode
Show.
25.
25.
Yeah, here we are.
It's not really a surprise where we're at today because you can see it right behind us.
Yeah, we're at Franklin Brewing Company.
Franklin Brewing Company, hanging out with Aaron and Howard. So
Hello,
excited
guys.
to have you guys here.
Excited to be here.
I hope so. You're here all the time, right?
I should say excited to be here with you.
Yes, we're definitely stoked. So just like always when we're on remote, we get a chance to try some beers, talk about what you have on tap, and hear a little bit of the story, get a chance to get a tour of the space.
It's really the only reason we do this, so we can get free beer from everybody until they start catching on.
Hey, it's part of the deal about being a podcaster, right? You get a chance to go out. We're on Spotify, damn it,
It's
David.
a nice little
Yeah.
perk, right?
It's a perk.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
huge
it's a
perk.
perk.
So get a tour of the facility and really just hang out for a little bit. Give you guys a chance to promote what you do, let everybody know what it's all about, Lorain County Beer and Franklin Brewing Company. And so, absolutely. Dave, how was your weekend?
It was great. Marblehead again.
Oh, nice.
Got wrecked on the deck.
That's your thing out there, though.
I
brother.
know.
Wrecked on the deck.
This is
I
like
thought-
deja vu.
I know.
I just heard.
This what happened last time,
last
too.
week.
These guys, they come out with this great bourbon, and they make me drink it. Next thing I know, I'm banged up. I'm banged up, son.
Banged up. This is a 3-day weekend, so you got banged up how many days?
A couple.
A couple. I mean, we had a wedding that went to on Saturday, which is pretty fun.
Yeah.
My niece got married downtown at the Elliott. A beautiful place. A lot of fun. We had a good time at the reception and danced with my daughter a bunch, and she came over from Case, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So had a good time. We got a chance to kind of relax on Sunday and Monday with everybody, and just really kind of take in the weekend. How about you guys?
Worked.
Yeah.
Just kind of chilled here, doing some things, trying to get stuff ready we got a bunch of events coming up this weekend, so
We heard about
always want to be prepared.
Absolutely, it's exciting.
Howard, how about you?
Like Aaron said, worked. We were here Friday. We did our first pint and paint with Cameron Goodrich. She came out to Brewfest the last couple years, so she's going to be here with a sort of a rotating roster of artists. So they'll be here again Friday, and you'll get to paint a pint glass with some hop leaves. And
That's
I don't
awesome.
know if Cam will be here. And then we also have our classical guitar player, Scott Schlegel. He's going to be playing that night as well. And then Saturday will be closed because we've got 2 different events to go to.
That's pretty cool. And we'll get to those in a second, right? Let everybody know where you're going to be at this weekend.
Definitely.
Guys, the place looks fantastic.
Thank you.
I mean, we came in, we were here on your very first opening day, and got a chance to take in a little bit that moment. But just to see over the course of how many months now?
Geez, what about 5?
This is
starting
the start of
6.
our 6 months.
Yeah, starting 6.
6 months. It's really become your home. It's a beautiful little place.
Literally.
Literally.
That's why the couch is there, you know. Sleeping there.
Sleep on the couch.
Chairs with nice cushions on them.
And I can't wait for you guys to give us a little bit of a tour because I want everybody to see this beautiful little place right here, downtown Grafton. Really cool garage door. You can see some of the natural light coming in over here. A lot of cool things to do while you're inside, not just have a pint or two. Again, you mentioned the couch, but dicey darts, and we get a chance to see your brew house, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect.
A bunch of new big screen TVs, catch all the sporting events,
Absolutely, yep.
sports ball,
Browns game starting this Sunday, so stop on in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so before we get rolling, Dave, how do you people here find out about BlabberMalt?
Well, you probably found us on Facebook or YouTube, and we're the BlabberMalt Show there, and Spotify as well. And you can also find us on Instagram, X, and Threads. I got a Threads account since we talked on Tuesday. So
Because
you
of
can find us
Howard.
At BlabberMalt, so doing all the cool new things.
Howard, how do they find Franklin Brewing Company?
Same thing, all the social media channels. We're probably biggest on Facebook, but we do Instagram and Threads. Not as much X, Twitter, or whatever you want to call it these days. I don't know. I just don't know if I like the platform all that much anymore. But I mean, Facebook, you can set up the events, so that's really we heavily use that. We have an email database, so if you're in here, sign up for our email, or just there's actually a link on our Facebook page where people can sign up.
And they're
our
active.
email.
I
Yeah.
get their emails every week, so
Yeah.
that's pretty epic. What is your handle?
Everything's just at Franklin Brewing.
At Franklin Brewing.
Yep.
So, Aaron, I'm going to pass over the mic to you so you can walk us through this flight of beer.
Sure.
We'll go with the names and what's in it, what it's all about, and you can talk, and I'll do what I do best, just kind of chill and hang out and
Drink beer.
sip a little bit, right?
All right, there you go. All right, well, I guess we'll start off. We're going to go 1 through 5, starting at the handle there, gentlemen. So the first one we have is our Milk Street Stout, which is a milk stout, so it's going to be a little bit sweeter. You guys are obviously familiar with beer and the styles and how things go.
Sorry. I jumped again.
Being Franklin Brewing and Benjamin Franklin and historian and all those types of things, we try to name all of our beers off of something that is in some way related to Ben. When I was first crafting the beers and coming up with things, we started with a Kolsch, and then I needed something that was dark to go with it. So I wanted something that was easy to drink. I didn't want an extremely heavy stout, but I wanted it to be light on the palate and something that could go over in hot weather as well as the fall and winter months. So I kind of toned down a few things and changed a little bit here and there with it, and this is what we came up with. And
It's good.
the name came
Yeah,
from,
beautiful.
believe it or not, Ben was actually born on Milk Street.
Oh, nice.
I did not know that. I'm getting a history lesson as well.
You will. That's what happens when you come here.
Very good.
Thank you.
Now,
So
is it a milk stout? Is that the kind of the back Milk Street, or is that not connected at all?
yeah, no, it is a milk stout. So it has lactose in it. I think there's about 27 pounds of lactose in it. So it's not super sweet, but it's definitely got a little bit of a sweetness as opposed to another stout. Because later on down the line here, this other one's an oatmeal stout. So you'll definitely notice the difference in the two.
It's a good beer, Dave.
Very good.
Thank you. So the second one then would be, it's called Silent Sunflower for Silence Do Good, which was a pen name that Benjamin used to write under. This is actually an American wheat beer made with 30 pounds of roasted sunflower seeds.
Really?
Yes. So you should get a little bit of that roastiness on the back end of the finish, if you're picking it up.
Yeah,
It's nice.
Thank you.
very subtle.
Yeah, so I just played with this a little while. We did it at Brewfest one year for the VIP area. People really loved it. It went over real well, so I decided to make some of it here, and so far it's been selling great. People really enjoy this. It's a little more unique, something a little slightly different to go along with the American wheat style. So
I think it's a nice touch to that wheat beer. I remember
Thanks.
when you said that, I couldn't remember where I've placed that before, but it was at the VIP event.
yes,
So I remember trying it there too. I love the name, right? And I love the fact that you're talking about how this plays together, right? Your marketing all the way across the board is pretty clear about what you do and what you are and the process of your brewery. As a history buff, the Silence Do Good letters, and it's a good good connection.
yeah, thank you.
It's a lot of fun. That's something that you have to know what that's going on. So it's a nerdy thing, to beer nerd and a history nerd thing. So
Well, Ben was a subtle nerd himself, so I'm just trying to play off of all of that. Then the next one we have is our the only IPA that we have on at the moment, which is our West Coast style IPA. It's also one of our year-round beers, as well as Milk Street is one of our year-round beers. It's called Academy, so it's our Academy IPA. And Academy is based off of, because he started what was called the Junto Club, and then that spiraled into the University of Pennsylvania, going down the road. So Ben is actually a founder of the University of Pennsylvania.
cheers me again.
So this is all Cascade and Centennial hops, and it was all grown right here in Ohio.
This one.
I can think about myself to try some beers.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
So where'd the hops come from?
They were from Rustling Vines Hop Farm, which is in Amherst. I think.
Amherst. Really good people over there too. For those who, all the brewers in our area, they might not use local hops, and we've used them before, and so
Yep.
I know you guys have tried to use those quite a bit.
Yeah,
in your
when
time.
actually with West Branch, I used a lot of West Branch, his malt and everything as
Yep.
well too. And unfortunately, he's now no longer around, which was kind of a
So it's
smack
hard-
to
it's hard for us.
Yeah, it's because I used everything I had was scaled off of his stuff and my percentages and everything like that. So
Yep.
it took a little adjusting to get things right, but I'm still able to get some of the Ohio grown hops.
Yep.
So I'm trying to get as much as I can because I figure, as close to farm to table as we can get, or farm to glass, I guess as you would say.
For sure.
That's I really love keeping things local. When people come in here, we have some beers that are made with local honey, as this next one will be. We have a local farmer who's literally 8 miles down the road, who he brings us honey,
wonderful.
and actually he was spinning out honey today and told me to stop by, but I was a little bit busy and wasn't able to get over there. But he's a great guy, and he's got, I don't know, like 300 honey bee hives or whatever they are.
That's a lot.
Bee homes, And yeah, he's always.
Bee condos. I mean, we get our honey from someone who only has like 8, and they still have tons of honey for us, even for our massive batches of Christmas sales. So that's a lot of honey.
Oh yeah. He gave me when I was still working here, and he was like, "You want some honey?" I said, "Yeah, sure, no problem." And he wheeled up 250 pounds of honey. He's like, "Can
All
you
right,
use
we're going
this?"
to talk.
And I was like, "Yes, I can definitely use this." So
And I really enjoy the fact that we try to use local ingredients. We look at Lorain County beer, you were the first Lorain County brewery, and consistently been around for a long time. And we get into some of your history and story, if you guys want to do that. But the connection to local, right, is really important. And I know we were both supporters of West Branch, almost exclusively. And so continuing that process on as much as we possibly can is really important for local economy.
Oh, absolutely. And not only that, but I mean, if you're into health and allergens and things like that, especially with local honey, you've got your own the local allergens, the local pollen, the local things that are here for us. So the more of that you eat, the more of that you ingest, your system builds up immunities and can help fight things. And it goes from the grains to the foods, the vegetables to the honey to whatever it is that you can ingest. And I like to try to keep as much as I can local. I shop as local as I can, farmers
So
markets, all
this
that
beer is good for me, is what you're saying.
absolutely. That's
it's
why
a
you gotta drink
medicinal.
more. Yes, it's medicinal beer. Actually, a good way to. That's a new slogan, Howard. Medicinal beer. Franklin Brewing, medicinal beer.
Medicinal.
It's good for what ails you.
Right there, you go. I think
There's
I think Ben Franklin actually had a saying about that, didn't he? In wine there's sickness, and beer there's happiness, or something like that.
In water, there's bacteria.
There you go. Yeah.
So we'll ferment it and be happy.
Yes. All right, so then we're on to number 4, which is the newest of what we put out. This is, you may have known this over the years, we may have talked about it, I don't know necessarily, but I'm not a big fan of Christmas in July. I've kind of always bucked the system with that. I think Christmas only comes one time a year, and that's when you have it. But everybody seems to really want Christmas in July. So the only way I could do this was if I made a dark Christmas ale. So this is not our Christmas ale, but it is an oatmeal stout with Christmassy spices, lots of honey, lots of toasted roastiness. I think the spice balance think came out very well in the whole thing, and it clocks in at 9.5%.
Yeah.
And drinks very easy. It doesn't drink like a 9.5% beer. And you'll definitely notice the difference between that and oatmeal, or the Milk Street.
This is the Hugo Grimm.
Yeah, and actually Hugo Grimm follows off of Silence Dogood. Hugo Grimm was a pen name that Benjamin Franklin wrote under, and he only wrote one letter by it. And the letter that he put out was basically asking what has happened to Silence Dogood. How come we don't hear from her anymore? And what does she have to say on certain topics?
That's great.
And then shortly after that, of course, Silence responded. So Ben was always the consummate professional and comedian.
I mean, you gotta love life before television, right? I mean, what did you do for entertainment other than write letters and put them in periodicals and send them out to everybody on the side of the streets with little kids?
Right,
Like, it's
exactly.
literally the best thing ever.
Talk to yourself.
Right.
Talk to yourself. That's a good beer.
Oh, yeah, that's very good. Just don't call it a Christmas ale,
Not here.
at least while Aaron's
You can't-
around.
I mean,
Yeah.
it was.
No, you can't. That's why I kind of used the name Hugo Grimm, because it seemed a little darker to me. And that's why I put all the spices in it to lend to that Christmassy thing. But when we actually did the release here, and which turned out very well, it was more of a Halloween-y type release. We had a black Christmas tree and skeletons and bats and that type of thing. And dressed them up with, we had an actual skeleton that had sunglasses on and, you know, a little black Christmas hat and that kind of thing. So,
Of course.
you know, if we're going to do it, that's the way we're going to do it. You know, it went well for me, and I think Howard enjoyed it, and everybody else seemed to like it too. And
Oh yeah, we had a blast with it. I mean, Hugo Grimm is actually sort of a character that if you go to our social media, you'll see, and well, you know, you can see him right there. He's coming back for Halloween. So Hugo is going to be a regular mainstay in the cast of characters that you're going to see here at Franklin Brewing Company. So we kind of modeled his look after Benjamin with, you know, creep. I mean, you can see that, you know, the bald head, the bifocals. So that's Hugo Grimm. So he'll be back for Halloween.
And the beer is one of my favorites you've done. I mean,
Thank
it's
you.
balanced, it's clean, it's good.
thank you. Appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And then the last one we have here is our ESB. Now, most people do not make an ESB, and this is another one of our year rounds. And when I first was thinking up what to make, it was kind of, I was looking for things that people didn't make a lot of. And I don't really remember which one I had, but I'd only had one, I think once or twice, and I enjoyed the style, but I couldn't find it anywhere else. So I did a lot of reading and research, and you know, how is this style made? And I came up with this, and it's titled 1724, and the date is because that was the first date that Ben Franklin went to London to buy his first printing press at the age of 18, and the rest of his career is kind of history. You know?
Yeah, that's very drinkable. You can drink a lot of these.
Thank you. Yeah, we do. Some people, you know, they look at it and they're like, I'm not so sure I want to try that or anything, but as soon as they get the first sip, they're like, oh yeah, that's going to be my go-to.
Yeah.
It finishes clean. The name scares people, I
That
think.
name's going to scare somebody, right? I mean, when
ESB,
you
extra
hear-
special
when
bitter.
you hear bitter, people have
Yeah.
this notion of bitter beer.
Correct.
They don't want bitter beer, but this beer is not a bitter beer. So I mean,
Right. I
It's
think
way less bitter than an IPA. West
Correct.
Coast for sure.
yeah, I think it's far more malt forward than anything else.
I agree.
You know, it definitely has a malt sweetness. It's just a subtle earthy finish that's in it, and you know, we've had people come in here that have actually lived in London and are from England and that type of thing, and they're like, this is better than some of the stuff that we get at home. And I'm like, well,
Yeah.
I think that's great because I barely leave the county, let alone, you know, the country.
I mean, sleep on the couch. So
right.
that's good. So how many beers do you guys have on tap?
We have 8 taps. We have 1 seltzer, so we have 7 beers that I try to rotate as often as I can. But we do have the 4-year round, so that then limits me down to 3 that we start switching out of. So we've got 37 different styles that we make, so I got to cram a lot into a couple handles.
Sure do.
So the more you come and drink, the more I can make.
You heard that,
The
guys.
quicker we can turn.
Exactly.
So how do people find you? Like where? I know I said we're in Grafton, but if you're driving through Grafton, where would they find you?
Well, the easiest way to say it is we're in the same complex as Subway. Everybody seems to be able to find the Subway, and we're kind of around the corner. We're tucked in. We don't actually face Main Street, which is our address. We actually face a street called Vivian, and I think that's why people sometimes have a difficulty finding us, because we used to be, or this location used to be a drive-through liquor store. So that's what the 2 garage doors that we have that you'll see when we move to the other side. But it was for, I guess, easy access for people to get out to not be on the main road and be on another parcel here, I guess.
No, we're actually sitting. When you see the tour, hopefully when you come soon to Franklin Brewing Company, that the floor here is up on risers.
Yes.
And it's a wood floor, and you can tell the drive-through goes from one side to the other. That's why the garage door is open. It's really hot outside today, and it's nice in here. The air was on when we came in. We forced him to open the garage doors for ambiance. He was like, "But it's hot outside." I'm like, "Yeah, but we love being outside, right?"
Oh, it's great. Yeah.
And as a person who, I don't know if our viewers know this, but I worked for the JVS for 20 years, Lorraine County JVS, and for I think 12 of those years, I was at Midview High School as a satellite instructor.
It's right down the street.
And so it's right down the street. And when you said we're in the same plaza as Subway, literally that's how everybody here would know where you're at.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, honestly, it's
They come for lunch here all
It's
the
been
time.
here for, that little Subway's been here since I started working at Midview, always. And right across the street from the Mexican restaurant, right in this little turn in the back. You have signage out front. You have signs up on the side too.
We do, yeah.
So you can't miss it, but you're just heading straight through town, past the Sparkle Market on your left, right?
Yeah, which I think they're actually changing the name of that, but yeah, it's the local grocery store on the left, the only one in
Right.
town.
People used to know it as the Sparkle Market.
Right.
So drive past the supermarket, and you'll see a little mini strip mall on your left.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have the Mexican restaurant on your right. You'll see a little Subway. Pull in there, and you'll find it.
Or you could use a little app called Maps or Google Maps and put Franklin Brewing in and just follow turn by turn.
Listen,
Just another newfangled way you can do that.
We're talking about Franklin Brewing Company, whose premise is
Ben
silence
Franklin.
good do letters, right? So we're talking. We're fine. Put it in Maps, Waves, whatever you want. Franklin Brewing Company. It'll get you right here too. So I look over at the bar over here, and I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a whole row of flavors, 13 flavors, and you're using those for.
Our seltzer.
Okay.
So actually, the seltzer is just a neutral base. It's got actually a subtle white wine-ish, dry white wine flavor if you want to just drink it plain. Most people don't, but we offer 13 different flavors that you can mix and match, make them however you want. People asked for a seltzer, they wanted something different, and I just didn't feel the need to make one. So,
And does it help yourself?
yes, absolutely. Yep.
So
You
if
just
I get a pint of seltzer, I can go over and put in pineapple coconut.
Yep, you can do whatever you want. And actually, we have a cheesecake flavor over there that's amazing. You put the cheesecake in and you add lemon, apple, strawberry, cherry, whatever you want, and you got a cherry cheesecake, strawberry cheesecake, lemon cheesecake. It's kind of like
sold.
making a mixed drink.
Yeah.
How popular has that been?
Actually, very popular. Yeah.
It's tasty stuff. I just
Well, it looks like when we're off camera, we're going to hang out here for a minute and try the seltzer with. And for all of those who are asking, yes, they see a bottle of pumpkin spice seltzer. So while we may not be doing Christmas in July or any other type of crazy pumpkin beers,
Right.
this man here has pumpkin spice pump to put in your seltzer. So, no, this is great, Dave. I mean, this
Yeah,
is a good
that's
flight.
Yeah, great beers. Appreciate it.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, but I think the public, if you've never been to Franklin, you know, I want you to tell the story really quickly, kind of the background. They've been around in Lorraine County for some time, quite some time, and most people I know who are into craft beer have ventured to your other location before you came here to get growlers and, you know, sips and things to go. And then, you know, while you're here, you know, how that's progressed. And so you've always made great beer. I mean, there's never been a time when anybody's ever said that Franklin beer has been off or anything like that. So that's a good thing, right? So being in the new location, talk about that a little bit. How did you go from where you were at in Elyria to down here in Grafton, where you were brewing, what that whole setup was like, and then where you're at today?
Well, started in a pole barn garage in my backyard, basically. It was a home brew bug that turned into this, kind of got carried away. It was a hobby that I just couldn't put down. When I started doing this, so many years ago, it was well before the internet was as prevalent as it is now, and the stuff has taken off the way that it has now. I mean, pretty much you Google anything and it's right at your fingertips of how to do this and how to do that. So a lot of things I had to go to the library or order books and that type of stuff and just read up on things. But my first system was a barrel and a half system that I cobbled together out of 55-gallon stainless steel drums. Pretty much made everything myself, built everything, welded a stand together. A buddy of mine helped me do, some of the heavy lifting on most of those things. But, we started with just basically a larger home brew type setup.
And funny story, if you want to see that very first Frankenbrew system, which is not Frankenbrew, the thing is epic. Literally, that's our brew system at ZZ's Big Top. So it's in our garage. You can see it through the glass doors there at ZZ's. That's your original brew house, bro.
Yeah.
And so talk about what we do in sharing with the other. That's still there. That's still present. And what you've done to start, the craft beer movement in Lorraine County is still progressing along the way. So we have that Frankenbrew system at ZZ's Big Top.
I'm gonna have to stop by and look at it.
You have to.
That's cool. That's really cool. Do you still have it? I like that.
have it.
But yeah, so that's kind of where we started, and then we just started distributing the bars and restaurants, and we just got bigger than what I could keep up with on the system. We still had full-time jobs, so we were doing that and coming home. I would come home and I'd brew till 2, 3 in the morning, and then get up and go to work and do it all over again the next day. We would do deliveries on Saturdays. We would also go make sales calls on Saturdays to just try to push us along and do things. At one point in time, I think we had 60, 70 something customers all the way down to Columbus, out to the Geneva area, and all the way out to like Sandusky and that.
I remember those days.
Yeah, they were rough days. I think we had like 5 or 6 taps at your place at one point in time.
Yeah, for sure.
So you definitely helped us grow a lot on that front, and actually Platform, who is no longer around, they helped us out with a lot of things, and there was a bunch of other breweries that put us on tap, and that helped us kind of get noticed and move along.
And I think that, I'm not saying that everybody gives them a bad rap, because I don't think that they deserve totally a bad rap, Platform. Because early on they did help. We talked about it a lot, right? I mean, they helped us out tremendously, and other breweries we've already been to helped them out. And so even with you, like early on in that 2014, 15, 16 range, they were quite helpful.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Very much so.
Yeah, and then things changed.
Yeah. So Howard, how did you get involved with this fine young gentleman over here?
Well, as we were talking last week about Brewfest and all that, and music, the whole music thing, we had a band going back in the day called Hydra. I met Aaron back in 2003. Our first gig was in 2004. We opened for Theory of a Dead Man down at the Odeon.
So rock.
And
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, all these years go by, and the band kind of just stopped playing, but obviously we stayed friends, and he had me come over one day and said, hey, try this beer I'm brewing. And I was already drinking craft beer from my days at the Odeon, because after the show was over, like we were talking about, it was $1 a beer. So my thought was, I'm going to try all this weird stuff, because I have this insatiable thirst for new music, new taste, just new things. The thrill of discovery is very forefront in my mind. So I'm always into trying new beer. So I started drinking craft beer back in 1995. Before it was as big as it is now. But he came over one day and said, hey, try this beer. And the first one I had was Richard's Pale Ale, which is in the fermenter as we speak. He just brewed that. And I'm going to have a hard time remembering what that tastes like, because it's been so long.
I haven't brewed that beer, I think, in like 6 years.
Yeah, so it's been a while.
been a long.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the first beer that I had that he would brew. And right off the bat, I told him, this is as good as anything I'm drinking now. And I'm an experienced craft beer drinker. And, Aaron's thought was, I want out of trucking. I want to be a brewer. So here we are. We started a brand.
What year was that?
Probably 2000, somewhere 2007,
Yeah,
8,
yeah.
somewhere in there. When I look back at my graphic design files, that's my earliest date on a file was 2008.
16 years of grinding, brother.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's yeah. Where there's a will, there's a way.
years, right?
I don't know the meaning of quit. That's kind of my
Not in your vocabulary.
curse.
And I think that's important for those in our viewership who are looking at what we do, right? So we talk about beer brewing and bullcrap, and part of that is home brewing too, right? And so there's a massive home brewing community in Cleveland and other cities as well who are watching at home. This is a gentleman who had the bug and the itch and who's made good beer and decided to make this what he wanted to do. And it took time. I mean, you did the grind. You did it out of your house. You sold growlers and cans out of the back of your house on Saturdays, right?
Yeah, only select Saturdays too. And
Yeah.
it was only for like 3-4 hours. That was it.
To get you to where we're at today, right? Where we're going to take a tour here in a moment, right? And get to see what that hard work has been able to pay off to. So it's just a cool thing, man. If you have not been out here to Franklin Brewing Company, right here on Main Street in Grafton, you need to. We talked about how to get a hold of them at Facebook and other social media sites at Franklin Brewing. I'm going to pass it to Dave. He's going to tell us how to get a hold of us here at the BlabberMalt Show one more time. Hit that like button and share. And then when Howard talk about some events you have coming up that we want to talk about, and then let's get a tour.
Sure, absolutely.
Dave, how?
Yeah, let's Facebook YouTube and Spotify. We're the BlabberMalt Show, and at BlabberMalt on X, Instagram, all the other places.
Like,
Right
share.
there.
It's right
Or
there.
it could be there. I don't know where you guys are going to put it.
We'll have to get the overlay. Yeah. We'll work on
Like, share. Helps us out a bunch, guys. Get that content out to people. We really appreciate it. Not just for us, but it helps get people who we're hanging out with today, get them out and about. I mean, here's this little wonderful brewery in kind of mid-southern Lorain County that wants you to come and hang out with them for a little bit.
Yeah, and the vibe that we're going for here is kind of a coffee shop vibe with just beer instead of coffee. You know, you can come in, you can sit down, you can bring your laptop if you want, you can work on some things. You can bring your family, you can bring your kids. We got games for them to play. There's books to read. There's, you know, whatever it is you want to do. We're dog friendly since we don't have a kitchen. You know, that's kind of a little bit of a downfall, but you know, you're welcome to bring in whatever you want. If you want to have a picnic, you can bring your own food in. You just can't bring beverages. You know, we supply the beverages, you just bring the food.
Yeah, so come on out here to Franklin Brewing Company. Tell them the BlabberMalt Show sent you. You buy your first pint, get your second pint for full price.
Full price.
Got that going for you. Boom, we hooked you up.
And that's because we got a free flight out of it. You got any?
Well, we've always working on something to entertain the people because obviously Aaron and I are big musicians, so we're always looking at musical acts to bring in here. The whole craft brewing thing is a creative endeavor, so we've got Pint and Paint on Fridays as a series. This is going through October, so you can come in and have some pints or seltzers, bring in snacks, bring in food. Obviously, our beer's on tap and get some painting done. Even if you're a novice, come in and have some fun, and that's the whole thing with this artist here, and they're here to kind of teach you and guide you as you go through this. And we've got music coming up. We've got our biggest event coming up is going to be October 28th. We're going to do, as I mentioned, we're going to bring Hugo Grimm back, and we're going to have Hallows Eve here. So there's only going to be 50 tickets available, so you can find that on eventbrite.com and get your ticket, which will include a beer, food. We're going to have a DJ from Cool Cat Radio here. They're going to be bouncing back and forth between the DJ that's in the studio and the guy that's here. So we're going to have a lot of fun with that. There's going to be a $250 cash prize for the best costume as voted on by the patrons that come. So come on out for that.
Yeah, can't wait.
It's going to be
Well,
fun.
we get to dress up too. And that's,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, we're all small, intimate Halloween party, so that'll be going on. October 21st, we just started working with Melissa over at Goddess Elite in North Olmsted. We're going to have what we're calling Sipping with Spirits. Larry Allen is a medium psychic, and he's going to be in here doing readings, so that's going to be really interesting. I've never taken part in anything like that before, so I think that's going to be really cool.
It's great.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. We've got another yoga class. We're working with Grounded Yoga and Wellness right around the corner from us. They're going to do a yoga class on the 14th in the morning before we open. So get your tickets for that. There's those. As anything we do here, we're a small venue, so tickets are going to be limited. So get your tickets for that, and we're going to keep it rolling. We're going to do a. Oh, this is going to be cool. You guys have seen our parking lot. Yeah, obviously, we don't have a lot of parking spaces. And Aaron and I are both into cars and car shows, but as kids, we were into the model kits, like a lot of us were. So we're going to do a model kit car show. That's going to be on Sunday, October 15th. So bring in your model kits, and again, we'll have some prizes and whatnot. We're going to work with Haven Hobby down the road here. Just right down the road from us, still on Main Street 57 over there. I think they're Elyria, or is that that's Carlisle Township too. Yeah.
So if I want to sign up, because I got this email today, or I think it was today,
Yeah.
with all this information already in it. So how do I, if I'm a person listening today, how do I go and sign up for this email list?
Hit us up on our Facebook page. There's a little link that you can click, and it'll bring up a sign-up page. Or just, post on one of our posts. We're always posting, and we banter back and forth with people on Facebook and social media all the time.
Cool. Yeah, appreciate it.
Or the easiest thing to do is if you go to franklinbrewing.co, it'll take you right where you need to go. So franklinbrewing.co. It's just .co, no M. It'll take you right there.
Cool. Want to do a tour?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
I'm always the master camera holder.
You are a master. All right, well, check out this garage door here. This is awesome. Nice open air. And you can see we have the decking material bringing it up. It used to be the old drive-through, right? You just go.
Yeah, and actually
right on
the
through.
reason that we threw the deck on here is because there's a 6 to 8 inch drop off here where it was a curb. So when the cars would come in, if somebody's a little crazy, they're not going to run into anything. So obviously that's not a good thing. No matter how brightly colored we paint anything, somebody's still going to trip and fall. So to make it a little easier, especially for wheelchairs and things like that, we decided to put this deck across it, and you can just roll right across and have a nice flat floor to walk
Beer
on.
drinking and drop-offs don't mix.
Exactly,
mix.
exactly.
All right, cruise on over here.
Yeah, and then the custom wall that we did it's all pallets. It's pallet wood. So there's 4 different colors of stain in there, a bunch of different types of wood, and was quite a chore to put together, but it's kind of a nice focal point.
Yeah, got a cool logo. Cool logo on the wall. Love that.
Yeah.
You want to check out the bar first or the
Yeah, I was
brewing
going to say
space?
the bar was actually custom made on the spot for us by one of our customers. He's a long-term customer, or retired Elyria police officer. Hans von Warmer is his name.
Okay.
Give him a shout out. But he had a similar bar in his basement that Howard and I had stopped in on St. Patty's Day 4, and we really enjoyed it. And I said, it'd be nice to get one of these in our space, once we get a space open. And he said, let me know, and I'll come and build it for you.
That's
So
awesome.
this is what he did.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, so as we mentioned, or as I mentioned before, this used to be a drive-through liquor store, so it's changed a lot since the liquor store days. We added the extra bathroom. There was the one bathroom, so we added the extra bathroom, and then we've got the darts and that. So we do have dart leagues that come in here on Thursday nights right now, but that's going to be ending, and it's going to be switching to Wednesday nights. We do trivia and music bingo and that type of thing. So there's definitely things for everybody to do and hang out. Our little couch lounging area, bed, if you will.
Yes.
And then just kind of avoid we're small, so we don't have much to put things, so we got to find spaces to put them and work around them.
Yeah,
Is
you gotta-
basically the way it is. So then this is the rest of the drive-through area, which then got converted into the actual brew house. So you can see where the step-off is for where the curb came across, so that's why we ran the flooring across it. But then this was just painted, sealed, and it's ready to go. We added some floor drains and stuff to it. All of this stuff, it's a 3-barrel system. So all of this was what was in my pole barn garage that we then just moved over to here, had things piped and run, and sealed a lot of the stuff off ourselves, did a lot of the work ourselves. The cooler that's behind you was a cooler, but we shrank it down. It used to have glass doors on it because of the drive-through.
Okay, yeah, that makes
So
sense.
yeah, obviously we had that all removed and changed it to the cooler that we have now. And I've got a beer bubbling away
Oh, I
as
can
we
smell it.
speak over here.
Oh, it smells wonderful.
And this is kind of our home away from home. So we've come a long way from a pole barn garage.
Yeah, it's great.
As I tell people, we just upgraded to a little bit bigger garage.
Get a look in here. Come on, people, take a look. That's what fermenting beer looks like. Bubble, bubble, bubble.
Heck yeah.
Nice.
Well, Aaron, we appreciate having us out.
Thanks for
Great to
stopping.
see your space. We can't wait for people to get themselves down here to Grafton to have a pint with you and all your wonderful events you're having coming up. It's one of those things we talk about what that looks like, almost like a community event center. Right? We want people to come here, hang out,
Absolutely.
do life together, and just enjoy each other's company. So.
Yeah, I kind of like lean a little bit on Ben, when the taverns of the day were where people discussed what they were going to then go out and say, this is how we're going to shape the country and make the world. So I kind of want people to come here and just be able to sit down, talk with your friends, have business meetings, whatever it is that you want to do, and then go off and shape your world.
Look at that.
Beautiful.
Having a little bit
Love
of
that.
philosophizing this
That's
evening.
awesome.
Well, you look good, brother.
Thank you.
And thanks for having us out. Look forward to having you in the studio next week.
Be good, yeah.
All right, until then, guys, stay
Stay
malty,
malty,
Cleveland.
Cleveland.